Oh, oops. Ouch. I pushed it off.
Again?
No, but no.
I got my own show.
That was the constant show.
I didn't mean to.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Maybe.
No. Anyway.
Don't count on me. I'm not dependable lately.
No. The most dependable. You could set your watch to this girl. Anyway, here's the second show of the day.
Which is, I want to hear what it's about.
It is about the I Ching. Okay.
You're going to tell them why they should have anything to do with it.
Why would you have anything to do with the I Ching? Why would you have anything to do with tarot or the oracles?
Oh, well, even
Why would you have anything to do with breakfast? Why would you have anything?
Okay, now he's babbling because he didn't like that question. And I always ask him, why, Lon? I'm like a little kid. But why? But the I Ching is different than other oracles. It's a little more, I'd say, fatherly,
Yeah.
stern, will not give you any crap. You have to put up with its crap.
And sometimes downright rude.
Oh, it's rude. Yeah, it is rude. It tells you things you don't want to hear. Not that it's, nothing's 100% right. So I don't ask it questions hardly ever. Once a decade.
Yeah. And then I don't understand.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
So I don't like it. So I don't ask it again for another 10 years. It's very paternalistic.
So
It's not exactly.
So it's complex enough as it is, but it's very, 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 very profound, and it's more or less based on Taoist principles rather than on any kind of religious, religious based or superstitious based thing. It's built on common sense with steroids, I guess. Anyway, I find it difficult to read tarot cards for myself because it's so easy to lie to myself with it. Oh, I can interpret that to mean this, and of course you can do that with most any sort of oracular device. But the I Ching, especially if you've got a good translation. Now, somebody posted today and asked me if I used Wilhelm Bain's edition with an introduction by Carl Jung. Yes, I do. That's sort of my anchor text. And recently, I've bought, enjoyed, and I'm completely awed by Benny Bellwin's new translation and expanded I Ching commentary. So if you really want to just open that box up really good, I would start with something simple like the John Blofeld's I Ching or something like that. The leg edition of the I Ching is it was a good effort in 1890 something or 1870 something when it was part of the Oxford Oriental Wisdom series or something like that. And Crowley's I Ching is interesting if you're somewhat familiar with the I Ching and very familiar with Crowley. Okay. For many years, a good 50 years, I've been just sort of superficially familiar with the Wilhelm Bain's I Ching, and I've asked and worked with over the years, at one time or another, all of the hexagrams. And have there's 64 of them, 64 answers. And when it came time for me to write the Book of Ordinary Oracles, I have a section on the I Ching, and what I did was, and it took me some time, even as funky as I am, it took me a great deal of time to write the I Ching of Milo. So what I basically did was take my understanding of each of the 64 hexagrams, and there's kind of two little sections. There's the kind of like the text and the image, and that sort of gives you just the general title, I guess, of the thing. Like the I Ching number, hexagram number 1 is called the creative, and it's just 6 unbroken lines stacked on top of each other. And so I sort of tried to distill my understanding of the Wilhelm Baines translation of the title of that card, and it's the creative. And the image and text was, creative effort brings success. Build your strength and stamina. Okay? That's a nice kind of fortune cookie-ish way of explaining that. Now, do I have a on here? Okay. That's what it looks like. It's the creative. So it's sort of Chinesey and ancient Chinesey, chauvinistic, because it's all male. Okay, and a lot of the I Ching original comments are sort of chauvinistic and deal with marriage and things like that from a pretty ancient Chinese perspective. Nevertheless, those are still valid metaphors for absolutely everything. Now, if you see there, I got little check marks. Well, not check marks. I got little numbers beside each one of those. Now, each of those lines in the process, this is my answer, okay? My answer is that creative thing. But what's the I Ching is beautiful is that nothing stays the same. That's not, or it's very, very seldom a one-shot answer, because everything is moving, everything is changing. So each of these lines has the possibility, when you take the snapshot of your question and get the snapshot of your answer, it's just the snapshot. The answer has already begun to move into another thing, another nuance, perhaps absolutely just the opposite. If all of those moving lines ended, it would turn into an all-female stack of broken lines. And it would move from the creative to the receptive, almost like from Hokma to Bina, or from Shiva to Shakti, or from positive to negative, or from male to female, or from the red lion to the white eagle, okay? I digress. But each of those lines, if they move into their opposite, and they create another hexagram. And that's the third part of the answer. Okay, so if only one line per stack here moved, if the bottom one moved to its opposite, it would turn into hexagram number 44. And if the second line from the bottom changed, it would turn into hexagram 13. It wouldn't turn into, it would move into, like 3 frames of a flipped cartoon. Okay. And if the third line from the bottom moved, it would turn to hexagram 10. And the fourth one from the bottom, it would be hexagram 9. And the fifth from the bottom, it would be hexagram 14 or 43. Okay. Now, in real life, big boy I Ching consultation, you use various techniques to randomly receive this hexagram, either by throwing coins or by the manipulation of 49 yarrow stocks. And you manipulate them in such a way as you're concentrated on your question. Yeah, fat chance for Lon. And you have the possibility of getting no moving lines, or you have the possibility of getting all 6 moving lines, or any number in between. Now, Aleister Crowley, okay, as much as I love and respect him, he chose to be about as simple as possible. And in his I Ching little pamphlet, if you will, I think his words actually just don't even mention the moving line as how I got a moving line or how I'm going to determine it. Now, Crowley used 6 wooden sticks. Okay. Now, this would a I Ching purist would just go, oh my God, this is where'd you learn? What schoolyard did you learn that? But it just like 6 sticks like this, with a line drawn down the center of one side, and the other side is completely blank. So that's the unbroken line. That's the broken line. And one of the sticks is indicated by another little line that would give you a moving line. So in other words, using these sticks, you will be guaranteed a I Ching hexagram with one moving line that you can then change into what it's moving to. Okay. We don't know for sure whether Crowley originally intended the sticks to be used that way, because early on in the 60s, somebody did a version of Crowley's I Ching, the text of his I Ching, but the introduction of it was written by the editor of that pamphlet, and who made it at least appear that it was Crowley's words that talked about that single stick moving line thing. So that question is still up in the air. We could perhaps ask the I Ching that. But in any event, I've become comfortable at my Minerval initiation. At the dinner afterwards, Grady McMurtry brought out Crowley's wooden sticks. Those aren't it, but they were like that. And they had one stick that was characteristically different than the others. Now, whether Crowley intended it that, or if it was just that's the way the sticks looked, Grady told me that was the moving line, and I was to select it as my personal, or the personal moving line for that consultation. So I've become comfortable with it. And to tell you the truth, my pedestrian brain is really not properly equipped to wrap my meat brain around more than 2 or 3 moving lines and trying to interpret each of those lines. So one's good enough for me at the moment anyway. So what I did was I wrote a complete I Ching where I did those 2 lines in black at the top are like the image and the text, and each of the lines, there's 6 lines, and I interpreted the moving line text from the Wilhelm Baines in my own Milo-esque vulgar way. And so when I throw a I Ching question and I get this, say, number 1, one of those lines will move. I'll read the top 2 sort of dark, bold text and image, and then I'll go down and see which line is moving, and I'll read that as a special message. Then I will turn that moving line into its opposite, and I will look up and read the image and text of the line it turns into. So, for example, let's say I got the creative. Okay, creative effort brings success. Build your strength and stamina. Now, say my question was, hey, I'm getting ready to take on this new project. What are my chances of success on this? Do I have what it takes to do this? Okay. And I get the creative and I go, oh, happy day. I got the creative. Build your strength and stamina. But there's a moving line at the bottom, at the first place. And it says, there's a hidden problem. Don't act. So I'm getting mixed signals here. Creative effort brings success. Build your strength and stamina. But there's a hidden problem. Don't act. Now, that's not don't act for the rest of your life. It's don't act in this situation. So when that bottom line moves, it turns into hexagram 44, because I want to know what that hidden problem is. So I go to 44. And 44 is called Coming to Meet. And it says, and I give an example of, you mistakenly thought that hooker was too weak to cause trouble, so you give her your home number. See what kind of situation that is? Very Trumpian, okay. And it says, even if you're far from home, don't let them forget who's boss. Start by giving orders. Okay, you see what kind of danger you're in. You've allowed yourself to fall into a compromising situation, and you've kind of are at least prone to making that makes it a situation weaker with your continued naivete. So that's a hidden problem. Don't act. You don't read any of the moving lines. That's that 3-part answer. So let's say I ask the same question, but my moving lines in the second place. Creative effort brings success. Build your strength and stamina. Moving line in the second place. There's a problem right under your nose. Seek expert advice. Oh God, where do I seek expert advice? Well, maybe the hexagram it turns into, which is hexagram 13, will give us some advice. Fellowship with men, a convention, a conference, a movement. Orderliness within diversity. Ah, okay. Fellowship with men, because there's a problem right under my nose that only expert advice can help me in this project, and maybe I should go to that convention. Maybe I should go to that meeting. Maybe I should go to that festival. Maybe I should, see what I mean? And then get yourself ordered, organized. Orderliness within diversity, not orderliness within your own tiny circle of friends. Orderliness within diversity. Now, can you see how something like that could be helpful? Okay, what if it's in the third line? And I guess I'm going to... Hi.
I like your sticker.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Where are you from?
Southern California, from Newport Beach.
Okay, so that's a weird place.
Yeah, a weird place.
From the way it sounds, it's like you're from the Appalachian country or something.
Well, we're of the people, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so if it's in the third place, it would say the creative. Creative effort brings success. Build your strength and stamina. Now the moving line in the third place would be create all day. Worry all night. Things will eventually work out. Well, how will they work out? Maybe if you keep on worrying all night and create all day, turns into number 10. Treading. You're riding a tiger. Enjoy the ride, but for heaven's sakes, be polite. Okay, now all of this within the context of an issue that you have intimate familiarity with and an emotional stake in. A three-part answer like that could be very, very, very helpful. And I did another one I was going to use as an example, and I was going to take number 39. Okay. And I worked out what 39 moves into. 39 is the, let's see here, 39. Obstruction, okay, which is a common problem. If you can't climb over this problem, you're going to have to go around it. Blaming others won't work. By fixing the problem inside yourself, you'll fix the problem outside yourself. And then we could go, okay, how do I go around it? And go through the same thing if you got one moving line. That's your more specific answer. The reason I'm showing you that is because in the car at that last parking lot, I threw the I Ching, said, well, I'm just going to give him a random example. And it was number, it was number 39. And let's see, it was, it turned itself, I think the moving line was, screw this battle, you've got a wife and kids to feed, go back home. Okay, now obviously those are Lon's vulgar paraphrasing of very serious and profound little bits of wisdom. Almost every one of or all of the hexagrams and almost every one of the little moving lines is a profound Zen koan in itself. And I don't want to belittle the seriousness of the I Ching or serious I Ching scholars, but the my Yi Ching of Milo, okay, and it's published as a separate book, online anyway. I don't suggest the online one. The Yi Ching of Milo, I know it's cutesy and everything else, but I was enmeshed in all 6 moving lines of all 64 hexagrams. I was only going to do a couple as an example for the book, and I ended up doing the whole thing. It might help you initially wrap your meat brain around the wonders of the I Ching. And if you don't have a book of ordinary oracles, you need one anyway. So why don't you get it just for the I Ching of Milo? And I'll be happy to personally fix some typos for you if you ask me for an errata sheet, once you've discovered where the mistakes might be. Anyway, that's it for today. It's been a weird day, a weird week, and let's just hope we all hang on together for the rest of for the duration. Until then, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt, shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love and do well.